7:16 now at KLIF. The state has rested in its case in the murder trial of former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger. Now we turn to the defense arguments. Criminal defense attorney Chris Lewis joins us now to break down how the state wrapped up its case. We should point out Chris is not associated with the case. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good. So prosecutors called a few more police officers and detectives yesterday. What was their strategy as they wrapped things up?
You know, it's kind of hard to tell at this point. They don't appear to have a great cohesive strategy. I don't think they did anything yesterday to move the needle whatsoever. I was surprised that there wasn't a little more testimony. It seems that their entire case has been centered around trying to evoke some sort of sympathetic emotions from the jury. I think they accomplished that. I don't think they did a whole lot to accomplish proving murder beyond a reasonable doubt.
Was it a surprise that they wrapped up their case in just 4 days?
No, actually, I was surprised. Cases tend to move very fast in state court in Texas. So the idea that this case was going to go 2 weeks seemed to boggle my mind a little bit, especially if we're not talking about a big, long, elaborate type of crime. We're talking about something that happened in a period of just a couple of minutes. So the fact that it went on 4 days, I think was even a little bit long based upon the fact pattern.
Today, the defense gets its turn. What are you expecting to see from the defense today?
You know, they were pretty lucky to have all day, or I guess the second part of the day yesterday, in order to regroup and figure out what they want to do. I think the case is probably going better right now than they expected it would. That being said, I mean, they could very well just put Amber Guyger on and then rest their case, or just rest their case on the evidence thus far, but I don't think they'll do that. I think what they're going to do is they're going to put on a substantial amount of witnesses. I think that they want to prove, they want to take the burden, not in actuality, but they want to take it upon themselves to prove that this was a mistake, in fact, and that she is not guilty of murder.
We're talking to criminal defense attorney Chris Lewis about the Amber Guyger murder trial, the defense getting its turn starting today. How do you expect the prosecution to handle questioning Amber Guyger when she goes on the witness stand?
Well, that's going to be their whole case. That's their last opportunity to show that this was not some sort of reasonable mistake. Let's not forget the word reasonable. It just can't be a mistake, but it's got to be a reasonable one. So they've got to attack every single thing that she did from the time that she pulled into the apartment complex to the parking garage until she delivered the fatal shot. They've got to attack every bit of that. I think as Amber Guyger's testimony goes, ultimately, that's the way this case will go.
I'm sure she has been just coached nonstop for her appearance on the witness stand.
True. I mean, it would be par for the course with any witness to go over the questions that you're going to ask them, that you plan to ask them, and the questions that you expect the other side to ask them. However, you want a witness to be up there and to appear genuine and raw and authentic. You don't want them to be overly coached. And if Amber Guyger has been telling us the truth up to this point in time, the truth never changes. So the only coaching is the appearance and what you do and how you answer questions and how you interact and engage with the jury, and to be mindful of those things and not to be defensive or evasive. So I think that's what most of the coaching will be about.
If this trial goes longer than today, it seems like the judge is going to hold court on a Saturday, which is, I guess, rare. Have you ever had to go into a Saturday?
I have, and it almost, you've got to understand that Judge Kemp, like any other judge, is very concerned and respectful of the time that the jurors give to this case. It's not like they're making a lot of money, and they are completely separated from their lives. So you will see situations where court is held on Saturday in situations like this, where the jurors have been sequestered. They haven't had access to their friends, to their family, to their phones, to their business, because this judge wants to use all available time and get this case wrapped up as quickly as possible.
How about Sunday? Is that possible? I would imagine if they're deliberating, the answer to that would be yes.
I think it's a possibility. Many people go to church on Sunday. There's other things going on Sunday. Everyone needs a break, of course. The fact that Judge Kemp hasn't addressed there being court on Sunday yet leads me to believe that Sunday will, in fact, be a day of rest and they'll resume on Monday.
It sounds like you think the defense is still winning this. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I don't think it's even a close call. It doesn't mean that this is going to be an outright acquittal. The state has done a great job of trying to nullify this jury, making it all about emotion and not about whether or not this was actually murder and a reasonable mistake of fact. Are there some jurors that might gravitate and clinch onto that? That's true. I mean, that's absolutely a possibility. If that happens, you might be looking at a hung jury. But as far as the facts and the evidence and everything that's come forward, if I were their attorneys, I would still be nervous. But as an outsider looking in, I think the state is getting trounced.
If it was came back as a hung jury, I mean, they're going to prosecute again, I would imagine. That's
going to be a tough question. What the DA has done in this case is he's left it up to the people. He's left it up to the grand jury. You decide. Of course, they don't have to present defenses whenever they present a case to the grand jury. So grand jury, you decide. We're going to let the people of Dallas County decide. It'll be a very tough and a very interesting question if they come back with a hung jury as to what Judge DA District Attorney Creuzot will do.
All right, always a pleasure. Very interesting case. Chris Lewis, criminal defense attorney.